On This Week in Iowa, a freshman state senator joins us in studio. Then an analyst explains how Iowa caucus goers are whittling down the field. Plus, check out a new tool to get engaged with the presidential process. And Senator Ernst introduces a bill about family leave. Hi, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us here on This Week in Iowa. I'm Sabrina Ahmed, and we are starting off our show with Senator Zach Walls, a Democrat from eastern Iowa, just outside of Iowa City, right. Coralville, technically. Senator Walls, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So you have a little bit of a different story than many other lawmakers. Can you just give us a quick bio, the Reader's Digest version, if you will,
sure.
Of how you got involved in politics?
Yeah, well, some of your viewers might remember me from a short speech that I delivered to the Iowa legislature back in 2011. I was a sophomore at the University of Iowa studying civil and environmental engineering, and I was testifying against a proposed ban on same-sex marriage in our state. Video of my speech was, unbeknownst to me, recorded and then uploaded to YouTube and went viral, and that very much changed my life forever and put me on this path into advocacy, where I spent some time working to get the Boy Scouts to end their ban on gay members, and then now into politics.
And why did that speech go viral?
You know, I think it was mostly that it was, to some extent, unexpected. You know, I think people talking about same-sex marriage might not have realized there were already adult children of gay couples, especially here in our state.
And you are one of those.
That's right. I've got two moms.
Yeah.
And I think the video, it was a passionate defense of my parents and why this topic was so important to us.
So that was the catalyst, but now you've really evolved and have taken on quite a few different areas that you find important to you, affordable housing being one of them. This is your first term in the Senate, so what have you learned so far? So,
you know, I decided to run in 2018 when my state senator, Bob Dvorsky, retired after a long and distinguished career. He'd been in the legislature for longer than I'd been alive. I'm only 27. And the reason I decided to run was because I knew that there were a lot of people who felt after the 2016 election, the way that I felt growing up, often kind of alone or isolated by our government, like we were maybe a target. And I thought it was really important that we have people in government who know what that's like, what that feels like. And so that led me to run, to represent our community. And along the way, I learned a lot about a lot of the issues that are facing Iowans. A lot of the issues are things like health care. The fact that our Medicaid system still isn't really working and that health insurance is very expensive for a lot of people. A lot of concern about public education and how we've been chronically underinvesting in our K-12 system, and a lot of concerns about student debt for people who are graduating from our state schools, both private and public. So there are a lot of concerns. Housing is another big one, and that's something that really, that's not an urban issue or a rural issue. That really is something that affects so many communities in our state, including in my district, which does have parts of Johnson County, but also all of Cedar County and a small slice of Muscatine County. So no matter where you are in Iowa, there's still a lot of work to do.
Now, you did put forth a bill for affordable housing. What was that bill? Unfortunately, you said it probably won't go anywhere this session.
Yeah, so I proposed, so currently when you buy a home, there's a real estate transfer tax, and I proposed, rather than sending all of, so currently I think it's about 65% of that money generated by the tax goes into the general fund. I proposed just a tweak that would allow more money to go to being spent on affordable housing projects and more money that would be available for shelters to apply for grants to fund their operations to help provide housing to people who are experiencing homelessness.
Okay. What other issues have you worked hand in hand with other lawmakers, or what other issues have you put forth legislation on that are important to you?
Well, the very first bill that I filed was Senate File 312, which would have instructed the Iowa Energy Center to develop a plan to get Iowa from to 100% or 80% renewable energy by 2030 and 100% by 2050. We've heard a lot of talk about a Green New Deal in Washington, but my perspective is that we need a plan that's right for Iowa. We need something that is going to build on our strengths, help us improve on our weaknesses. You know, we obviously have such a strong presence when it comes to wind energy. That's something that I think that we should be very proud of and that we should build on. And then there are also things that we should be growing, like solar energy. And so, for example, the legislature is currently considering a resolution that would essentially create a sunshine tax on people who have solar panels on their homes. I think that's the wrong approach. We need to be expanding solar for both consumers and utilities. And I think that this bill would have created a plan for Iowa to do that. Unfortunately, the Republicans didn't consider it, but I hope that we'll be able to get it going, hopefully, in the future.
The judicial nominating process,
the
changes passed the full Senate this week. Now, you voted against that measure.
Correct.
Why?
So it's very interesting because when I was campaigning, this was not something that anybody was talking about. Democrats did not campaign on this issue. Republicans did not campaign on this issue. This was something that was proposed after the election was over, and now Republicans are trying to rewrite the rules because they won the election. My take on this is very simple. If we are going to be mucking around in the courts, Democrats and Republicans should agree. Fundamentally, this should be a bipartisan. Any changes to our judicial system should be bipartisan, and that's not what's happening right now. For your viewers who are following this topic closely, they'll know this is about our judicial nominating commission, which is basically how judges get nominated.
Right.
But for the folks for whom this is maybe a little too wonky, the short version of this is we have one of the best systems in America, a model system when it comes to how we put people onto the bench. And unfortunately, we have one political party in our state that's trying to change that system because they don't like a few of the rulings that have been made.
Republicans have said, including Governor Reynolds, that they're trying to take politics out of the judicial nominating process.
The easy way to know that that's not the case is because Democrats and Republicans can't agree on it.
Okay, what would you say is the #1 piece of legislation that you would like to see make it through the rest of the way, knowing what's already not made it through the first funnel?
It's a good question. I think probably the top priority right now for me is make sure that we extend the save penny. So this is something that I heard about a lot. That is the 1-cent sales tax that is used to fund school infrastructure projects. I'm on the education committee. I actually had the opportunity to work on this in our subcommittee process as well. It's something that I hear a lot about both in my urban and my rural parts of my district. And I know that we got to get this done hopefully sooner rather than later.
Do you think that it will pass this year?
I certainly hope so. I mean, it was a bipartisan vote coming out of the Education Committee in the Senate. It was, I think, 14-1. I believe Senator Zahn voted no, but everybody else voted in favor of it. And I believe it passed the House just last night. So we'll see how things shake out, but I believe it is moving forward, and I hope that we can get it done sooner rather than later.
Senator Walls, thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely.
We'll take a short break, everyone. We'll be right back.
Congratulations to the Local 5 political team, awarded a regional Emmy for program Medicine in the Making. And congratulations to Local 5's Elias Johnson, awarded a regional Emmy for his work as a video journalist. To view these and other local stories you won't see anywhere else, go to weareiowa.com.
Iowans love their AE milk. To find out why, we went straight to the top.
Oh, well, I can't take credit for it. It starts with where our milk comes from. Right, Warren?
Right, Miriam. All our milk comes from Iowa Family Farms. Then it's tasted and tested for freshness. Right, John?
Yep. We don't skimp on freshness, and our milk is in stores within hours. Just ask the delivery guys.
You just missed him.
AE Dairy, made with passion and ridiculously high standards since 1930.
It's the season for Basketball Madness, and here's your chance to prove you're an expert. The We Are Iowa Basketball Madness Bracket Challenge. Compete against us or invite your friends and create your own group. You could win the $175 grand prize. Plus, a perfect bracket wins $1 million. Make your picks on March 17th at weareiowa.com. Each round winner receives a gift certificate to Big Al's Barbecue. We Are Iowa's Basketball Madness Bracket Challenge is powered by Big Al's Barbecue, the best barbecue in Des Moines.
Are you currently on Medicare? In other words, do you carry the red, white, and blue Medicare card? If so, are you suffering from chronic back pain or knee pain? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for a pain-relieving back brace or knee brace covered by Medicare at little to absolutely no cost to you. Will you qualify for a Medicare-covered back brace or knee brace? There's only one way to find out.
Call the Back and Knee Brace Center at 1-800-280-4260.
From the capital city, you're watching This Week in Iowa with Sabrina Ahmed, getting to the heart of what's happening in Iowa politics.
Welcome back, everyone. We are switching gears now to chat presidential politics with Pat Reinert from the Iowa Starting Line. Thank you so much for being here, Pat.
Always.
Once again. Yeah. We want to discuss that ever-growing list of people who are running for president. So here is the current list of people who have announced they're running for president. The most recent person to announce his run is Beto O'Rourke from Texas. But it's long. I mean, we literally have to have 2 full screens full of their names. First of all, on your count, that makes it what? 14?
I'm at 15 now by my count. We might actually have 16. There's this little-known Florida mayor who I think is gaining the race as well. But yeah, quite a bit. And we still have Joe Biden, Eric Swalwell, and Steve Bullock, who I think are all likely folks to get it. My guess is that we end up with, at the very height, 19 Democrats altogether. They won't all stick around, probably.
Well, that's a lot. Does it dilute the field?
It does. And I mean, it's hard enough for me to get around and for all of us to get around to all these events with all of them. I can't imagine what it's going to be like for some of these Iowa caucus goers. And, you know, you talk with some of them, they like most of them. They like a lot of them. And, you know, I've run into a lot of people who will go out to a Kamala Harris event and be like, oh, I'm for her now. And then they'll see Cory Booker the next weekend and like, no, now I really like him. And it's just, it's back and forth. And it's fascinating to me what's going to be that thing that convinces folks.
And what are you hearing? Do you know what that thing will be yet?
No. I mean, some of it's electability arguments. Some of it is who do people feel excited and passionate about, who they think can beat Trump, who they align with on policy issues. But, you know, this is Iowa caucus. Relationships matter, and I think it's going to be key for all the candidates to get out to a whole lot of events and speak with people individually. You know, Elizabeth Warren at her event, she does a whole selfie line. So even if she's got 300 people there, they all come through and get a little moment with her. So those, you know, those little personal touches matter. I've heard of some of my friends who have joined up to support a campaign simply because they like the staff that is working for them. There's just a lot of people that, a lot of candidates that Iowans like, so it's tough.
So they're all coming to Iowa, of course. They all have all these separate events, but they all also, as you mentioned, have to have staff. Who would you say has the most robust staff in the state? Because it's kind of some of these technical things that are really going to make a candidate stick.
Right, the ground game really matters, especially in a field this huge where all the caucus math gets real confusing. We won't go into that. But yeah, John Delaney, Cory Booker, and Elizabeth Warren have the largest staffs by far in the state. Kirsten Gillibrand and one other that's escaping my mind also is building up, Kamala Harris is also building up quite big operations.
But to keep up with that large staff, it requires money, and there are only so many Democratic dollars to go around. Are there financing challenges here?
There really are, and that's why I don't think we'll have this many candidates come Iowa caucus time. A lot of these senators came in with well-known names and big fundraising email lists, but I think probably what a lot of them are going to discover is that people who donated to them in the past donated to them because they're running against this Republican that folks didn't like or something like that. So it's tough, and that's why kind of viral or important moments can matter. You know, Pete Buttigieg had a really well-received CNN town hall, and he raised $600,000 online after that. So you got to find ways to break out like that, if for nothing else, just to keep your lights on.
Do you think that it's better to have a big, robust staff to really get that ground game going, or to be lean and mean to try to succeed?
That is a good question, and it might be a little bit wiser to be a little lean early on, because I don't think any of us really know. We won't know until the first quarter fundraising reports, which I believe come out in mid-April. That'll be a real big, interesting thing to see where everyone's at, because you don't want to be the Scott Walker of this year. Scott Walker, the Republican, came into Iowa, was the conservative front runner in Iowa, then built up this huge staff, but he was out, I think, by September, if I recall correctly, because he just ran out of money.
Right. How do these candidates, if it's not dollars, weed themselves out? How long do you think when do you think we're gonna start seeing people drop out?
Well, one of the first things will be the debate in June. There may be a handful who don't meet the qualifications to get on the stage. Obviously, that would be very bad for them. I think after a while, it'll just be, here in Iowa, you've got so many candidates coming around, you can't draw big events every single week for your candidate if they're not exciting, if they don't have a little bit of momentum behind them. Because if you're in Newton, you know, come the summer, you may have 6 candidates in your town any given day. So it could also just be a frustration of that.
Real quick piece of advice to Iowa caucus goers as they're meeting all these people. What do you say to them? Meet them?
Yeah, go out and meet as many as you can. No one else in the country gets this opportunity. You can always know what their policies are, check it on their website and their past speeches. Try and get them to know the more personality side of them. So try to ask questions that bring out the personal side.
That is the joy of being an Iowan, Pat. Thank you for being here. We appreciate it. I know you've got lots of campaigns to get to. Yeah. We'll take a short break. We'll be right back, everyone.
Show me romantic comedies.
The new Extreme Voice Remote. Personalized TiVo-powered TV on every screen. Faster speeds up to 1 gig and reliable Wi-Fi room-to-room. Get an Extreme deal today. Extreme Internet, TV, and phone packages start at $34.98 a month for 1 year when you switch. Plus, no contract required. Act now and get 3 months of Showtime included. Call 844-EXTREME2 for details.
It's only fitting that the birthplace of the women's rights movement is now home to the National Women's Hall of Fame. 276 women adorn the walls of the hall, from authors to astronauts to athletes to activists. Some famous, some not so famous, but all noted for their contributions to the nation and the world.
Sponsored by Central Iowa Mechanical.
Mr. World here at the world's most stylish dance competition. Good thing I'm styling designer frames from Eyeglass World, the world's best way to buy glasses. Eyeglass World's got hundreds of designer styles, so I can dazzle the judges. And they're hundreds less than I expected, so I can swing the price tag.
With 2 stylish pairs for hundreds less, Eyeglass World is the world's best way to buy glasses. Come get 2 pairs for $78.
Away!
Does it seem like deals for the latest phones are always for new customers? Not anymore. U.S. Cellular customers are loyal, so everyone can get 50% off the new Samsung Galaxy S10e. At some point, everyone needs a new phone. It's a great time to be our customer.
Seen the new Galaxy S10e?
Or to switch to U.S. Cellular, because everyone can get 50% off the new Samsung Galaxy S10e. No trade-in required.
You're watching This Week in Iowa, Sunday morning talk focused on the political scene in Iowa.
Welcome back, everyone. We are joined now by Lauren Johnson with CaucusWatch.com. Lauren, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, first of all, tell us, what is CaucusWatch.com?
Well, most simply, it is a resource for the average caucus goer. More specifically, it does 3 things. It has a listing of all of the upcoming candidate events on a pretty simple and sleek calendar. It has a listing of all of the candidates that are running, links to their websites, links to their Twitters, and the newest feature, which I'm pretty excited about, is this new newsletter, which goes out on every Friday morning and tells you the weekend's events and the week ahead.
Perfect. So we just had Pat Reinert on the show, and we heard how many people are running for president, especially on the Democratic side. Is that why you decided to do this?
Oh, yeah. You know, when these candidates started announcing in late January or early February, I found it difficult to find all of the information about these different events in one place. So I woke up one Saturday morning and decided to buy a website and streamline all this information just to make it easier for the average voter.
So how do you keep it all straight? Where are you getting all this information from, and how can you ensure that you have an unbiased amount of information on your calendar?
Yes, well, it's updated every day, and we get information from campaigns directly and sometimes from Twitter, because that's where all the late breaking news happens. And we keep it unbiased by putting every single candidate event on there throughout every city throughout the state, as well as on our candidate tracker or our candidate listing. It's all in alphabetical order. We have the one Republican who's running and all 15 Democrats who are running as well. So it's completely nonpartisan and completely independent.
What are your goals for this site?
Really, my goals are just to make sure that Iowa is all the voters of Iowa are as informed as possible come next February, because there's so much weight put on our state during caucus season, and it's really important for us to make a responsible decision.
Lauren, how old are you?
I'm 22 years old.
Okay, so you are a young caucus goer. You've never voted in a presidential before, is that correct?
2016.
2016
was my first one, absentee.
So talk to me about what you as a young caucus goer or a potential voter for the next election, what are you looking for out of these candidates as so many people are flooding into Iowa? How do you set them apart from each other?
Really, the #1 thing that I'm looking for personally is someone that I can trust. I think that's really important nowadays, and I just want to listen to every single one of these candidates as much as I can, and luckily I live in Iowa, so I get to hear a lot of them.
Do you think that face-to-face interaction is important for young people like you?
I think it's very important, and I also think it's a great opportunity that I get living in this state.
What are you hearing from other people who are your age? I mean, you're obviously a very involved, very ambitious young woman. Do you think other people your age want to be as involved in the political process?
You know, I think it's kind of hard to get away from it nowadays. It's interesting to see how involved people choose to get and how involved people get just kind of by interactions. But I think that, like I said, it's hard to stay away from it.
What do you think is making young people get more involved? What do you think is their call to action? And what issues do you think are the most important for them?
Well, the call to action for young people is that this is really our future. The 21st century is the century that we're going to be raising our children in. And it's the century that we're going to be growing old in. We're going to be dealing with, let's say, for instance, the climate and the economy and everything that happens in the next 20 to 30 years. So it's really important for us to pick a candidate that we believe can propel us through the next century and make sure that we're successful.
Okay, wonderful. Tell us how to get to your site.
All right, so you can go to www.caucuswatch.com and follow us on Twitter at Caucus Watch.
Okay, wonderful. Lauren Johnson, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
We'll take a short break, everyone. We'll be right back.
Tonight and tomorrow, Idol's two-night event begins.
Ready, boys?
The final auditions. And we saved the best for last.
I'm faint right now.
Oh, my God.
American Idol. Tonight and tomorrow at 8/7 Central on ABC.
Boating. Tundra. A little R&R. Camry.
Wow, she's good.
Off-roading. Forerunner. Our treasure hunting. Highlander mateys.
Thanks.
Wherever you want to go, we've got a great deal on a Toyota to get you there.
Get 0% APR financing for 60 months on a new 2019 Highlander. Or get $1,500 customer cash on a new Highlander. For great deals, hurry in today.
Ready, set, go get your Toyota today.
Toyota, let's go places.
Are you over 50? Would you like to get up to 33% more income in retirement? Then call now for this free book, Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers, from a leading financial firm on maximizing your income in retirement. That's right, free. This free book reveals little-known secrets about annuity strategies in simple-to-understand terms that will help you make the right choices before buying an annuity. And it's free. Call right now for your free book. And as a bonus, we'll also throw in a free annuity rate report. We researched over 1,200 annuities and summarized the rates and benefits of annuities from financially strong insurers. Again, that's Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers and a free annuity rate report, both absolutely free, for calling Annuity General today. Supplies are limited. Call now.
Call 800-746-5741. That's 800-746-5741.
Follow us on Twitter. Tweet us at WeAreIowa5News. You're watching This Week in Iowa, Sunday morning talk focused on the political scene in Iowa.
Welcome back, everyone. The governor announced a new application for Iowa felons who want their voting rights restored. The application is simplified and easier to understand. The governor says she's aware that some Republicans don't want to change the system.
Well, I'm going to keep working with those Republicans up there. So I'm committed to getting this done. I'll talk to them why I think it's important. I don't think that voting rights should be forever banned, and I don't think that one individual should be making those decisions. And I'm going to talk to them about why it's important and see where we can find, that's all part of the process, some common ground to get this done.
Since Governor Reynolds has taken office, she's restored the right to vote for 122 offenders. Her proposed constitutional amendment to permanently restore the voting rights of felons passed the House Judiciary Committee last week. And Tuesday, the Iowa Senate passed a bill that would reform Iowa's judicial nominating system, as you just heard from Zach Walls, giving politicians more power in the process. The amended proposal leaves intact the system for district court judges, but changes the way the nominating commission for the Iowa Supreme Court and the Iowa Court of Appeals is appointed. It would give more power to the governor and to legislative leaders and would not require these judges and justices receive Senate confirmation. Democrats are calling it a power grab and say this is a change that should be voted on by all Iowans. Governor Kim Reynolds released this statement saying, while the current process was created with good intentions, it's now filled with backroom politics that leaves a vast majority of Iowans in the dark. This measure now goes to the House. We'll keep you posted on where it goes. And taking you to Washington now, Senator Joni Ernst just proposed a plan for parental leave this week. It's getting some buzz on Capitol Hill and in Iowa. Under the plan, eligible workers could tap their Social Security funds early to help pay for up to 3 months of time off. But here's the catch. Once it's time to retire, parents would have to wait the same amount of time to get their Social Security money back.
It's not mandatory, and it is not a tax on every individual.
It is a trade-off, but it's a trade-off that I think many will be willing to take.
Talks are still in the early stages, and lawmakers hope to work together to find a solution both sides can agree on. We'll be right back. You're watching This Week in Iowa.
So I'm searching for my show, and the dish guy just appears. Said he overheard my death scroll. I said, He said the sound of scrolling channels to death. Said with Dish, you just say what you want, and it's on.
Control your TV by voice remote, or Amazon Alexa, or your Google Assistant. Only with Dish, tuned into you.
On the outside, banks and credit unions look pretty similar. And sure, on the inside, they both offer loans and checking accounts and that sort of thing. But go further inside, and there the similarities end. Because banks are run for profit, and credit unions are not. Bank profits go directly to select shareholders, while credit unions are cooperatively owned, and earnings go back to all members through better rates and fewer fees. So if you think banks and credit unions are the same, remember this. One is run for profit, the other is run for you.
Show me romantic comedies.
The new Extreme Voice Remote. Personalized TiVo-powered TV on every screen. Faster speeds up to 1 gig and reliable Wi-Fi room to room. Get an Extreme deal today. Extreme Internet, TV, and phone packages start at $34.98 a month for 1 year when you switch. Plus, no contract required. Act now and get 3 months of showtime included. Call 844-EXTREME2 for details.
What happens when two of the largest Iowa-based financial institutions, both credit unions, make over $100 million a year in profits and pay no income tax? Iowa families shoulder a higher tax burden, while big credit unions enjoy a free ride. So Iowa families must pay more to fund services like education, health care, and priorities like improving Iowa's water quality. Iowa families deserve a break. Let's end big credit unions' free ride.
Thank you so much for joining us here on This Week in Iowa. We want to thank all of our guests for joining us. Tune in next week for our sit-down interview with Senator Cory Booker. He's a Democrat vying for the presidency. We speak with him next week, and we'll see you again next Sunday.